Give me an F.
F for fully. That means with all you've got.
Give me an R.
For relying, without a second thought.
O-G.
Who can we count on? Our Father is the one.
Our holy God in heaven, who sent his only Son. I know it may be silly, but no, it's not a joke. And some of you are thinking that it's hard. With every little ribbon and every little crook, he tells me that I need to count on God. F-R-O-G means fully rely on God to me. F-R-O-G is F-M elementary. F-R-O-G like putting letters A to Z. F-R-O-G means fully rely on God to me.
Good morning. Okay, as the weather's getting nicer, I don't know, are any of you like getting outdoors, getting more exercise, right? Doing a little more outside, playing games, whatever. Well, I have added some things. I'm always looking for new ways to like get into shape, right? So I have started adding in lunges into my daily routine so that I can like get into shape, right? It's a big step forward for me. All right, on that note, everybody stand up. Let's start our service. When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. When you look at others with their lands and gold, think that Christ has promised you his wealth untold. Count your many blessings, money cannot buy your reward in heaven or your home on high. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. Brothers, sisters, come on down to that river. Guaranteed you'll never be the same. There's a fountain flowing from the heart of the Savior. Bring your sins and all your guilty stains. Let that river of life wash it all away. If you've been searching, carrying burdens, if you've been lost and looking for a home, if you've been drifting and something is missing, you should know that you are not alone. Brothers, sisters, come on down to that river. Guaranteed you'll sins and all your guilty stains. Let that river of life wash it all away. Oh, oh, come as you are, no time to waste. Open your heart, don't be afraid. Jump on in, the water is fine. There's healing in the river of life. Come as you are, no time to waste. Open your heart, don't be afraid. Jump on in, the water is fine. There's healing in the river of life. Brothers, sisters, come on down to that river. Guaranteed you'll never be the same. Brothers, sisters, come on down to that river. Guaranteed you'll never be the same. There's a fountain flowing from the heart of the Savior. Bring your sins and all your guilty stains. By the blood of Jesus, everything will change. Let that river of life wash it all away.
If I am sure. I've not been here because I'm not excited. But I told them just wait for me and then I'll be here eventually. Also, if you signed up for Queen of Columbia or whatever that thing's called, what's it called? For Columbia. For Columbia, the other one that we are doing. Make sure you go to the place where you're supposed to go when you're supposed to be there, and that you get your t-shirt from Sarah. It's yellow. So get your big, bright yellow t-shirt. This morning, Gabriel is preaching, so all the BSUers sat on one side and made the building really lopsided today. And there are the few BSUers who I care less about on this side. Right. So very excited for what Gabriel has for us today. But as we continue, will you stand and continue worship with us this morning? They're gonna stand, so you do what you want.
Are you hurting and broken within? Overwhelmed by the weight of your sin? Jesus is calling. Have you come to the end of yourself? Do you thirst for a drink from the well? Jesus is calling. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was brought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Leave behind your regrets and mistakes. Come today, there's no reason to wait. Jesus is calling. Bring your sorrows and trade them for joy. From the ashes a new life is born. Jesus is calling. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, what a Savior! Isn't He wonderful? Sing hallelujah! Christ is risen. Bow down before Him, for He is Lord of all. Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen. Oh, what a Savior! Isn't He wonderful? Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen. Bow down before Him, for He is Lord of all. Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Lord, I come, I confess, bowing here, I find my rest, and without you, I fall apart. You're the one that guides my heart. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Where sin runs deep, your grace is more. Where grace is found is where you are. And where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. Where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ. So teach my song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, and when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. And when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you.
You be seated. It's your kid.
What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? Good. Good week? Was it really a good week? No. Oh no. What happened? Oh, school testing.
Testing is a sitch.
I'm so happy for you. Do you guys know what my job is? I am an ACM at the BSU. Do you know what my other job is?
You're a photographer.
I am a photographer. Yes, we got there. So yeah, I take photos. It is, whoa. It's a fun job. It often takes me places that I wouldn't like normally get to go. Yeah, just like, yeah, you got it. And I usually get to be like the closest person when I go to like concerts or sporting games, just because they pay me to take pictures. You said what? I was at Rachel's recital. I do graduation pictures. I do recitals. Usually when the BSU or a BSU person needs something, I'm usually the first call, which I'm so happy. Like, keep calling me. It's great. But the best feeling in the world when I take pictures is when either something happens or like I pose someone and I take the picture and I already know it's going to look really cool, and like I could show them on my screen and they'll either like jump up and down or get really giggly. And part of that is because I know how to use a camera well. Like I know how to change the settings to make pictures look good. And part of that also is that God has made a world filled with beauty and things that are beautiful and that are so easy to love. And do you guys, I hope you know, what is the first book in the Bible? Genesis. It is Genesis. What is the first chapter in Genesis about? How God created the world. And do you know, before he took rest, how many days it took God to do that? 6, yes, sir. And after every day that creation was happening, as God was creating things, the Bible said that God saw everything he had and that it was good, and that God has made everything beautiful, which is true. He has. There's a lot of beautiful things in life that we get to see. The flowers are starting to bloom outside now. Could you think of anything that you've seen recently that you thought was beautiful?
The flowers outside of the church.
The flowers outside the church. Anything else?
Ooh, the tulips in that garden.
The tulips in the garden. So there's many things that are beautiful. Flowers, obviously, nature. People are beautiful. Buildings, art. And that's what I want you guys to kind of think about as I give you some work for the week. It's fun work. At least it's fun work when I do it. So if you don't think this is fun, I'm sorry. Put up with it. But I'm going to give each of you, after church, because I was a kid once and but I'm going to give each of you a disposable camera. So how it works is over here, there's this like twisty thing. So you'll twist it all the way, it'll lock, and then, you guys want to smile? Perfect. So I'll give each of you guys one of these. All you do is twist every time you want to take a picture, and then press this down, and it'll take a picture for you. But I'm going to give you each one of these after church, and I want you to take pictures of things that you see that are beautiful, whatever that means to you. Next week, bring them back so I could get them developed, and then we can look at, in a couple weeks, we'll look at what you guys took pictures of. Next week, we'll look at some of my favorite pictures that I've taken and some of the ones that didn't turn out as well, just because that's how life goes. But and then we'll take the next couple weeks, look at what you guys decide is beautiful, and then what I've been able to also get. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You have a question. What's your question?
Is one of your favorite pictures my family picture?
It is your family pictures. I am lucky that I have a million pictures to choose from, but that is definitely up there as one of them. But sound good for the week? Great. Let's pray. Hey God, thanks for the beauty that you have given us, both with the world and everything that is in it, Lord. I pray that you help us and you help these kids recognize that this week and I guess all the other weeks, and that it's not just an afterthought as we move from day to day. I'm super excited to see what they come up with these cameras and these pictures. So I pray that you be with them. In your name, amen. Go back to your parents.
You know, it was really great last week when Isaac and Norbeth and Ella sang for us, and it was about not being afraid of the dark. And it really brought up a lot of things for me, because as a kid, and even as an adult, I'm still scared of the dark. But this song kind of goes hand in hand with that, and so I thought it was a great follow-up from their special last week. This is called Confidence. I'm not a warrior, I'm too afraid to lose. I feel unqualified for what you're calling me to do. But Lord, with your strength, I've got no excuse. 'Cause broken people are exactly who you use. So give me faith like Daniel in the lion's den. Give me hope like Moses in the wilderness. Give me a heart like David, Lord, be my defense, so I can face my giants with confidence. You took a shepherd boy and made him a king, so I'm gonna trust you and give you everything. I'll be a conqueror, 'cause you fight for me. I'll be a champion, claim your victory. So give me faith like Daniel in the lion's den. Give me hope like Moses in the wilderness. Give me a heart like David, Lord, be my defense, so I can face my giants with confidence. I'm gonna sing and shout and shake the walls, won't stop until I see them fall. Gonna stand up, step out when you call. Jesus, Jesus, I'm gonna sing and shout and shake the walls, won't stop until I see him fall. Gonna stand up, step out when you call. Jesus, give me faith like Daniel in the lion's den. Give me hope like Moses in the wilderness. Give me a heart like David, Lord, be my defense, so I can face my giants with confidence. Give me faith like Daniel in the lion's den. Give me hope like Moses in the wilderness. Give me a heart like David, Lord, be my defense, so I can face my giants with confidence. I'll face my giants with confidence.
Good morning. Oh, we're gonna try again. Come on, wake up. Good morning. Much better. So I know I'm aware that I am young, as much as the BSU in my high school class would dispute that. But and that I can count all the times between both of my hands, the amount of times that I've given a sermon. But every single one up to this point, I've said something along the lines of, I'm super excited to be here. Which honestly is not entirely true today. Today, I'm talking about, I'm gonna try and model vulnerability. I'd already decided that the next time I'd speak at LBF, I would talk about vulnerability. It was an easy pick to kind of make because early in the semester with the BSU, I did a 3-week series where we talked about community, and I wasn't quite able to flesh out all of the 6 trillion ideas in my head between those 3 weeks. And that was a thing that I kind of like fleshed out and maybe didn't get to speak about as much as I had initially had planned for. But the circumstance that I'm talking today is very different than what I guess I had assumed when I had started to kind of think through that. If I had treated this weekend the same way I normally treat the 3rd weekend in April, I would not be at LBF today. I wouldn't be in Missouri. I'd be in Chicago with my family because 13 years and 1 day ago, my dad passed away from a very, very long list of medical conditions and things at 51. If I didn't make that obvious, that's a very hard thing to talk about, like for me to talk about. It's a hard thing to kind of get up and share about, especially into a couple microphones and a camera and what feels like a billion eyes looking at me. And I think in some ways it would have been easier if I had just completely kind of ignored that and just came up here and talked about something completely different and unrelated, and just like ignored the elephant in the room, especially because until I just shared it, it was only in my room. It's nobody's situation, experience, circumstance more than it is my own. But that exactly is why I want to talk about vulnerability, because growing up in the environment that I did without a earthly dad has created, I guess, a bias in how I read and understand the Bible and God, because of course it has. Biases are super important to recognize and understand. I love that it was the first thing that David talked about when he came up here the week we switched over into supply preaching, because I've gotten to listen and learn from the different biases that like David has with his farming background. And recently you've heard from Kevin and his music, and I am no different that I bring bias to the Bible. So this is the bias that I have. This is whole milk. There's a point, I promise. This is whole milk. It's the best kind of milk. Yes. Growing up as a kid, this is not a joke. I would drink a gallon of milk a day. Not like use it for cereal or like add chocolate syrup to like make chocolate milk to drink, but like just straight glasses of milk, gallon a day. That there was a gallon in the fridge dedicated to Kiribel. I think when I was in first or second grade, I read something about milk making like your bones stronger, which is true. It does do that, and that you need strong bones to be good at basketball and get in the NBA. That's not as true. It did not work. And I think I just took that. I was about 6 or 7. I read that from somewhere. I took it and ran with it. This is also not a joke. My dad would have to stop at the corner store on the way home from work every day to pick up a dedicated gallon of milk for Kiribel that he would then have to throw out the morning after and then repeat day in and day out. My dad was the breadwinner in our family, so when he passed, my family went on government support for a while. My mom went to community college to learn English, and we went on food stamps. So like no more of the Kiribel unlimited supply of milk, just a regular amount of milk. And the church that I went to at home was a traditional Ethiopian church. They have also shaped my faith a ton, kind of in the same way that milk has, or in a different way that milk has. When my dad passed, the entire congregation, this also is going to sound like a joke, they moved into our apartment. The first night, I guess that first night for me after my dad passed was a memory that like I have like burned in my brain. 13 years ago today, 9-year-old Kiribel woke up in the middle of the night, wanted to use the bathroom, and I remember exactly how I had to like tiptoe and walk around sleeping mattresses and sleeping bags and pillows, and just people sleeping on couches and the floors and on the tile in the kitchen. There was a person sleeping in the bathroom, and I did have to make them get up. But it was 150 so odd people crammed in a space smaller than this room. The moms would cook for everyone every morning. People would go to work and then come back. We'd have dinner together. Church services were in our apartment, like with the sound system and the projector and the everything. And that kept up for almost 6 months. And even after that, as people started to, go back to their lives because they have lives, some people stuck around. I have a family friend that I call my brother that he still, he stayed for, I think it was 3.5 years. And like paying rent in a separate spot, but just living with us. And eventually life has to go back to normal, although it's a new normal. And then the weirdest thing happened. People that like were not very close to my family or me started to do something very strange. So this is like people that lived in the apartment building next to ours that my mom hadn't met, work friends of my dad who would stop by when they weren't in town anymore, people from churches that we would go to because we bounced around a little bit before finding this Ethiopian church, families of my classmates, my sister's classmates, would stop at a store pick up sometimes 2 or 3 gallons of milk, sometimes a half gallon. It was always whole milk, and drop it off when they checked it on us, almost like milk was the primary objective. And it never felt like the same person twice, which is like, if you think about it for a second, like, who mourns, like goes to mourn with a family and brings milk? That is weird. Like, that's not normal. Flowers, sure, card, maybe, milk. But once I got to middle school, high school, college, and now recognizing that that's not like a normal thing that people do, I'd bother my mom about it. Mom, you told them I like milk, and they like, that's why they brought it, right? And every time she would tell me no, that they did it on their own. Yesterday, I called my mom, and she speaks English so much better now, which is great. But when I'm on the phone with her, she still makes me talk in Amharic. Like, she will ignore what I'm saying if it's in English, and I'll just sit there and there's silence, and then she'll cough, and I'll be like, all right, listen. And I asked her in Amharic, I said, "Weta tu lemon al negreshinium," which is the milk. Why haven't you told me that you told them to bring it? And this time I added that she couldn't lie to me because I was going to stay in here and talk about it. And it's so much worse if, because now there's a camera and there's microphones and a million people looking at me. So that, okay, it's up, you got to tell me. And she said no, she never told people. She was almost always just as shocked as I was, but different shock. I was blinded by, this sounds weird, I was blinded by the milk. So someone would open the door, and I'd be like, "Ooh, milk, thanks, bye," and just completely ignore the person. And I definitely did not express gratitude to these different people as much as I should have. But my mom was more shocked by who was bringing it, and every time I'd go get my little glass of milk, I'd come out and they're sitting in the living room with my mom, and my mom's talking to them about Jesus. And yesterday on the phone, she told me that, no, she didn't tell people, but she would tell God. She would pray to God about where food was coming from, or specifically how Kira was going to keep drinking milk at the degree that I was. And she then told me on the phone yesterday to read the Bible, which, if you know my mom, that is not a surprising thing for her to tell me about at all. Specifically, she told me to read Psalm 121, which I'm going to read verse 1 and 2 now. It says, "I lift my eyes up to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth," which is the first part of vulnerability that I want to look at, being vulnerable with God. The word vulnerability comes from a Latin word that means wound, wounded, weak, open to attack, susceptible to harm. And Psalm 121 and many other places in the Bible is this like admittance of when I need help, where does my help come from? And then answering that question, accepting that it comes from God. Because God knows more than we do. That is true. God knows everything that we don't. That is also true. And most importantly, God is all the things that we would want someone with that much knowledge to be. The traits and qualities that people in the Bible attribute to God are incredible. Jonah describes God as compassionate and loving. Peter describes God as merciful. David describes God as gracious and righteous. And even with those things, expressing where we are at and what we need to that kind of God should be much easier than it is. Jesus' ministry is filled with people who are vulnerable, open, and honest with him, with where they are, followed by Jesus almost like rewarding said vulnerability, honesty, openness. One of those instances is in Matthew 9, and it includes a story of Jesus healing a sick woman who just went up to Jesus, touched his robe with the belief of, okay, I've gotten to Jesus, I will be healed. And Jesus' response after doing so isn't, look what I did, or I've healed you. That's not how Jesus frames that interaction. Verse 22, Jesus says, be encouraged, your faith has made you well. Bringing our vulnerabilities to God is part of living out the faith that we're called to live. It's part of what we've been commanded to do. And sometimes it looks like giving specific vulnerabilities and specific insecurities that we have to God because we're able to identify what they are. God, this is where I'm at, this is the problem. Sometimes it's as simple as, God, I don't know. And both are completely valid, both are steps forward. But when it's God, I don't know, that kind of becomes the next thing, finding out what it is that we need to bring to God, which the answer is everything. You should bring everything to God, but we can do better than that. At the BSU this semester, I'm super lucky that I get to play a part in leading one of our small groups. This small group is a journaling small group. The first week, we all went to Barnes & Noble, and we got journals for the semester, and every Sunday we get together, and with the idea of slowing down to a stop completely, and understanding where we're at physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and what it is that we need to bring to God as we navigate what we discover as we think about those things. Some weeks we meet as a group and the topic we go through is like simple or easy. We still learn and we still grow and we still identify things, but it's not like pulling teeth. Some weeks we say what the topic is and there's an audible groan or two because out of either avoidance or like an unwillingness to initially look at what's true about ourselves in the moment. Because it's easy to ignore. It can be easy to ignore. It could feel easy to ignore. But we do ourselves injustice when we ignore, avoid, lessen what is true. Because this is what is true. We're not perfect. Notice how no one disagreed. We're not perfect. And we need to treat ourselves as such and be open and honest. Practically, it can look like journaling. It can look like quiet time. It can look like setting the alarm clock 15 minutes earlier so that you have a second to pray. It can look like therapy. It can look like a million different things, but it needs to look like something. Right now, for me, it looks like morning showers with the lights off and my eyes closed, and that becomes my time where the world kind of stops, and it's just me, my thoughts, and God, which is scary. Like, that's a scary combination of things to have. But it's what lets me be true and honest with myself, and then I can come to God with those things. Ignorance, avoiding, lessening, those things get you nowhere. In fact, they get you even further away from what the Bible asks of us, whether we recognize it or not. In 2 Peter, Simon Peter's writing about growing in faith and what we need to do in order to do that, where he writes and it says, do all you can to add to your life these things. To your faith add goodness, then add knowledge, then add self-control, then add patience, and then devotion to God, as well as kindness and love. Those are a lot of different things that we're being told to add to our plate, and a lot of different things that are hard when life isn't ideal. It's easy to have faith when it feels like there's no burden. It's easy to be patient when there's nothing trying to rush you. It's easy to love when everyone around you is also loving. It's easy to have self-control when your buttons aren't being pushed. But life just isn't that easy. It'd be great if it was, but it's not. It takes a very intentional discipline and structure to exemplify those traits, especially when life isn't perfect. But it allows you to partake in the relationship with God that He has for you. And that's the beautiful thing about vulnerability. I know a lot of the words I've associated with it up to this point are like of negative connotation, weak, wounded. But the beautiful thing about vulnerability is that it brings you closer. It brings you closer to God. It truthfully brings you closer to yourself. And if we let it, it doesn't end up being divisive. In fact, it does the opposite. It brings us closer to each other. Paul, when he writes in Ephesians in chapter 4, he says a couple of things, or a couple of like guiding principles and commands to the church in Ephesus, which I've made bulletin points, but I promise this is what it says. Always be humble, always be gentle, be patient with each other, make allowance for each other's faults, make every effort to keep yourselves united in the Spirit, and bind yourselves together with peace. The binding yourself together and the unity of believers is what I'm kind of looking at here. Paul's talking to the church about the unity of believers and the new hope that we have as Christians with our faith in Jesus, and that it should bind us together. Here's this common thing and experience that we have, that common experience being Jesus, and now let's get closer through that. I'm going to laugh a little bit, but this part does make me a little sad. But the best example I've seen of that concept of common thing, let's bond, isn't the Christian church, it's sports. When Mizzou has a football game or the Chiefs have a game they play, I'll be Uber driving. That's my other job that they didn't come up with. I Uber drive on the weekends, and before games, Uber will give me a couple rides to the same place. So I'll pick up 2 people from a dorm, and then I'll go to a tailgate and I'll pick up 2 more people, and then I'll take those 4 people to the football stadium. So that's like a regular occurrence, especially around football season. But I'll be sitting in my car, pick up the first people, go get the second group of people, and I'll just watch how quickly people can be like, we're wearing the same jersey, done, besties. And they'll act like they've been friends their whole lives. I've seen people change, tell me, actually, don't drop me off here, drop me off with them after they start connecting. I've seen people exchange numbers. I've seen people just like I said, completely ignore what the destination they're paying me for is, and I'll drop them off, and they'll say, just drive there and get your free money, which I will always take. But, and it happens with more than sports. It happens when artists release new albums. It happens with clubs and different communities that we're in at school or in our jobs. Our personal defenses come down, especially when we have something in common to bond over and grow in. And as Christians, we have the ultimate bonding opportunity between each other with Jesus. I put this in bold over here because I needed to clarify, because I read this morning and I was scared. I am not comparing Jesus Christ to football. Nope, if that's what you heard, we need to talk afterwards, but I just need to say that for my own conscience. But since our bond with each other with Jesus should be stronger than our bonds with other things, either whether it's sports or favorite artists or hobbies, our vulnerability and openness should also express that. Vulnerability, the way that we model it, starts with God and then bleeds into ourselves and the people around us. So what can you do about it? Not necessarily what can you do about like other people's level of vulnerability around you. What can you do about you? What can you do about yourself? Because everyone in here, yourself included, myself included, is in a spot where they can express vulnerability, be open, be honest, whether you recognize it or not, whether you want it or not. It's super easy to leave your hurt and the vulnerable parts of you at the front door when you come to church, put a smile on your face, shake a couple of hands on the way out. I do it more often than I'm willing to admit that I do it. Well, I guess I just admitted it. But the question, what does it look like to stop using boxes and to stop sorting what versions of yourselves make it into church and what versions get to your job and what version are you with your kids and with your parents and at school versus when you're at home and when you're with your sports teams or your clubs. What does it look like to stop using boxes and for it to just be you? The book of Acts is very, very quickly becoming my favorite book in the Bible, particularly the latter part of Acts 2. which is looking at the growth of the early church. Acts 2, I'm jumping around a little bit, but it's that starting from, I think, believe 42. All the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. The early church just lived life together. But the part that stuck with me is this. There's no room in that worshiping community in Acts for you to be anything other than your true, authentic, open, honest, vulnerable self. They don't have the opportunity to do that because they literally did everything together. Now, life isn't as simple. Life is more complicated now than it was then. We're not gonna gather in a different house every morning and all have breakfast together. We're not gonna sell everything we have and get like one super house. But regardless of that, there shouldn't be room in this worshiping community or any worshiping community for you to be anything other than your authentic, true, vulnerable self. Truthfully, the communities that you worship in should be the easiest place for you to be those things. Because a Christ-like community relies on that. It relies on everyone being true, authentic, honest, vulnerable, open. Because here's what I've kind of understood to be true about how humans typically operate. And sure, I'm 22. Do I really know? Yes. Yes, I do. I don't know many things most of the time. I got this one. We do like boxes. People like boxes. We like to separate. It helps us process and it helps us understand not better, but faster. It makes life feel more controlled. And if we're willing to put people and their experiences into boxes, we can't truly understand them as people, their experiences, and show love and care like we're called to. And if we're willing to put ourselves into different boxes, different modes of operating based on our circumstance or who's with us or what's around us, we can't understand ourselves and we can't show love and care. So that would be my message to you this week and actually all the other weeks, so just moving forward. This will look different person to person, relationship to relationship, but start being your true, your authentic, your honest, your open, your vulnerable self everywhere. And as this headset gets passed around week to week and as different people continue to come up and share their biases and experiences with God, that they have with God and His Word and His power, that the speakers and congregation alike model that vulnerability. That as you interact with each other and everyone else you interact with week to week, day to day, that you allow this community to be a place where reality can exist well, and that we can look like the church we're called to look like, and that we can display and act out of faith with the opportunities in front of us. I know both LBF and the BSU have different service things coming up, so like lock in, let's do it. And I know that those are that's a million things, and they're all difficult to do. It's a hard mentality shift to just like jump and make, and that it's often hard to have faith in God, yourself, or in other people when you're being vulnerable. But what else is hard is showing up to a house of people you barely know unannounced with milk. But that's what builds community. That's what builds faith for everyone involved. For me having faith in that every day someone's going to hit the doorbell and there's going to be a gallon of milk waiting for me. For my mom getting the opportunity to continue to raise us and raise me and my sister in the way that she wanted and not have to compromise that, as well as being able to share God's word with what felt like an infinite stream of people coming into our house, and for the people ringing the doorbell. Just that is a display of faith. And I'm not about to cry over milk. Stop. But those are the moments that build community and that build faith for everyone involved. Would you guys pray with that? You're going to pray with me. I'm going to pray. There we go. Hey God, thank you. Thank you for today. Thank you for setting up this week, even if it may not have been what I wanted at first. But I want to thank you for this community of believers that I can participate in and be a part of. My prayer this week is simple. Help us to be vulnerable, open, and honest with you, ourselves, and each other. Amen. Thanks. Keeping this.
Jesus, 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 there's just something about that name. Master, Savior, Jesus, like a fragrance after the rain. Jesus, 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 let all heaven and earth proclaim. Kings and kingdoms may all pass away, but there's something about that name.
Thank you, Jericho. Most heavenly God, thank you for the beautiful day, for the sunshine and the warmth it will bring as we prepare to leave this place. I ask for safe passage to your destination. We go through the week. I pray for each of us. Go your path that you've laid out before us. And help us go it a little neater and better. Watch care and guidance for each person until you return us here again. For these things I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
God be with you till we meet again. By his counsel's guide uphold you. With his sheep securely fold you. God